Hi everyone, I'd like to welcome you back to the Wealthy Education Complete Technical Analysis Trading course. Today we are going to be talking about levels, trend lines, and channels. Let's jump right into it. In the last video, if you'll remember, we talked about support and resistance levels. Today we'll continue to talk about support and resistance, but we'll talk about how support and resistance levels can change when a stock is in a trend. In our last video, the support and resistance lines we were speaking about were mainly flat. We'll also be talking about trend lines, and trend lines can be drawn when a stock is moving up or down. A trend line can help provide an entry or exit point for a trade. And finally, we'll talk about channels. Channels can be drawn around a trend to indicate peaks and troughs in the trend, help predict where the next peaks and troughs will occur, and also indicate that the trend is ending or changing course. These lines are easiest to understand when looking at actual charts, so let's go ahead and jump right into the examples. We're going to be using a chart of Microsoft for our example today. And as we talked about with support and resistance lines in our last video, trend lines can be drawn over a variety of time frames. For this example, we're going to be using a daily chart, but you can also use trend lines on weekly and monthly charts, and you can also use them on hourly charts, 15-minute charts. It doesn't really matter. As we can see with this chart of Microsoft, this stock is in an uptrend. With the bull market we've had the past 10 years, you'll see a lot of charts that look like this Microsoft chart. So what we're going to do is draw a trend line under the stock price. We need 2 points at least to start our trend line. And we're going to draw it just like this and put it there. So now that we have our trend line, let's talk for just a second about what the goal of the trend line is. As the trend line intersects the stock when it pulls back, what we'd like to do is use the trend line to find a good entry point into the stock. As we said, the stock is in a bull market, so we're going to be going long the stock. What we're looking for is a pullback to the trend line in order to initiate a purchase. And once we've made that purchase, if we're actively trading the stock, we'll need a price target. And that's where a channel comes in. So what we're going to do is draw a second trend line above the rising Microsoft stock price. And now we have a channel. The stock rises to the top of the channel, falls back, and rises. Falls back and rises again. So if we're able to purchase the stock at the bottom of the channel, depending upon our trading strategy, we may sell the stock at the top of the channel and then purchase it again when it reaches the lower portion of the channel. Each time it touches the bottom part of the channel, these become rising support levels. And each time it touches the top of the channel, these become rising resistance levels in the stock. Therefore, you can see that support and resistance levels aren't always flat, but in a channel, they can be rising or falling. This is an upward channel, and the same would be true in a downward channel. You would have falling both support and resistance levels. Now let's take a look at a different chart where a stock is breaking its trend and leaving the channel. Let's take a look at the stock of Activision Blizzard, or ATVI, and the channel it has formed since May of this year. We're going to draw our trend line from the low in late April up when we see the stock was in a bull market here. And then we'll draw the top of the channel here. As you can see, the stock had a fairly tight channel formation, a rising channel formation, until late July, when the stock fell through the bottom of the channel and continued downward. If you had been trading the stock at this point and using this channel, you would have either sold your position or possibly gone short the stock. But in any case, this channel is no longer valid. So when a stock breaks out of a channel, the way Activision Blizzard did here, we can disregard this channel. And possibly here, we may look for a new channel to form to the downside. Thank you for watching this video on levels, trends, and channels. In our next video, we'll talk about trading psychology and some of the mistakes to avoid in trading. I look forward to seeing you there.